So, Aries, this one is for you. That's you, Aries. This is Tarot Lumination with your love and relationship report for December 2017. We've done it before, okay? Do the same thing. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Squish it all together and reinterpret accordingly. It's your reading. You can reinterpret however you want, okay? I know a lot of you do that. Also, I know a lot of you, you've been telling me you do the cross-watching. Do that cross-watching for the significant other. It might help, you know? Also, let's see, Aries, for you, this Jupiter big thing going on, Jupiter in Scorpio, that's up in your natal 8th house. You know, that's the house of intimacy. That's the Scorpio house. So there might be, you know, significant changes happening to you. From the Tarot Lumination perspective, Jupiter in Scorpio is ultimately at the highest frequency. It's about deep, profound soul healing, okay? Especially in the context of intimacy, especially that can only be learned and understood in the context of intimacy, which can often only happen in the context of a deeply loving relationship. On top of that, Saturn's moving into Capricorn, your 10th house, your place in the world. So you, starting at the end of this month, starting next year, first thing, big shifts and changes. It's a big 3-year cycle. So you might be starting to feel these waves starting to pick up already, okay? No jumpers here, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. We're just going to keep it super simple, and we're going to make the best of it. There's you, Aries. There's a significant other, and then there's the relationship itself, okay? You know that already. I'm not going to lecture you guys, okay? And I'm not a teacher. Don't ask me, okay? So here we go. This is you and your love energy, Aries. This is significant other, a chosen one, typically, hopefully. And going deep into you, deep into another, into the relationship itself, the status, let's just call it, for example. Can you see the bowl shape here? In a really loving, healthy relationship, there's you, then there's the significant other. And it isn't all about like, hey, I love you. What can I get out of you? Let's do this thing because we're theoretically a good match. And yeah, I get it too. Let's just do that. But wait a minute, it needs to work for me. And then, well, wait a minute, it's got to work for me. But in a loving relationship, it's like, what works for us? What can I do for you, honey? Oh no, I asked you first. I was gonna give you a foot rub. Oh well, yeah. I'll make the tea first. Then we'll do that. Okay? Yeah. Thank you very much. See you later. Okay, get settled in, get comfortable. Thank you. Okay, so that's what a healthy relationship. You work through, you live your life through the relationship. You invest and you nurture and you maintain the relationship. Now, over here is the prospects, okay? Under here, we're looking at circumstantial energy. It's not going to own you. It's like whether you, Aries, make the best of it, okay? Put yourself first, of course, okay? Now, Uranus is also still in Aries at the very last stages for the next few months. So if you're a very, very late born Aries, you might be still feeling a lot of rattling and shaking going on. If you were really early born Aries, maybe that stuff is sort of phasing out now, but it's still there. Okay, let's have a look. Bammo. So don't be scared of this. With the Five of Pentacles here, you might be living in a circumstantial evidence type of situation where your circumstances are reflecting back to you in a very kind of nuts and bolts, tangible way, how over extended periods of time, when it comes to significant relationships, no matter our best intentions, we can still make mistakes, where we can feel left out, impoverished, rejected, and neglected, even with our best efforts, because sometimes we don't know who we are except in the context of really important, significant one-on-one relationships where it gets deep into the intimacy. Sure, there's third house fun, you know, parties. And then there's fifth house, true love and romance. And then there's seventh house, you know, full-on marriage. Then there's the 8th house, which is that's the deep intimacy side. And a lot of people, intimacy is very, very tough energy for a lot of people to handle. And it might be happening right now with Jupiter entering that realm where the frailties and the weaknesses involved at the deepest levels of intimacy might be getting exposed, where it might be feeling as though it's like, woo, we wish we'd known about all this stuff in advance, because look at us now. They might be starving in terms of intimacy. But it's good to understand it and know it, and have that reflected back to you, because then you can make decisions. Well, what do we do now? Let's have a look, Aries. What's going on? So no question about it, Aries, you do have the absolute best of intentions, like a heart of gold here. I love to see this card in this position. The Knight of Pentacles, it's the energy of, let's say, dedication, devotion, of like serious reality checks of what happens in relationships. It's not all about like, hey, I sent you a really awesome text. That proves that I love you. No, this is much more about like investing in the future of us. So this energy here, with this, we're dealing with more pentacles. You might be very aware of whatever is lacking and not working in the environment of your relationships, which is making you starkly aware of what is good and wholesome in the relationships. So that going forward in the future, you don't have to be a victim of poor choices in relationships. Because I don't know if you've noticed, there's two people here. And a lot of times in life, many, 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 many things do not happen unless they're in the context of some kind of relationship. Even when you're buying a cup of coffee, there's a relationship between you and the barista, and vice versa. We're not just talking about, bed mates here. We're just talking about relationship in general. And so it's really important to understand like the nuts and bolts. Like if they're, some people like live beyond their means. Financial stability is really, really important in relationships for the long term. It's hard to not have that. Money is one of those very awkward subjects in relationships. It's very, very important. And nobody wants to be impoverished in any circumstance. However, if that energy is becoming apparent and it's reflected back to you, and you're realizing that in some aspects of your life, your world, there's a sense of impoverishment where things could improve, then it looks like you have every intention for improvements, or certainly the strength and nobility to get through the rough times. In other words, if you're going through a rough patch, it's just like, it's okay. This happens in relationships. It doesn't matter how rough it gets. We can still handle this type of energy. And that's what I'm feeling here from you, Aries. This very, 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 let's say, plain, ordinary energy, but it's very noble, and it's very honest, and it's very well intended. And it's like you're not going to be freaked out by the challenges of this relationship, okay? No matter what. Okay, let's have a look at the significant other over here. So we have two knights. So we have over here a Knight of Swords, where for you, Aries, you might be dealing with a significant other who's really kind of coming into their own awakening, like they've like has never ever happened before in their life. And it's really exciting for them. It's kind of like they almost want to tell the whole world, perhaps tell the whole world about you, their relationship, and everything that they know and they've learned in the relationship, and how things like really important elements, like these core ingredients, like integrity, honesty, truth, trust. Those are very, very important things. And it's like there's a significant other who wants that to be openly declared, fully put on the table, right in your face, okay? For the world, just because that's who they are and how they want to be, like fully honorable, and have the chance to be that way, even though circumstantial evidence indicates that it could be perhaps very, very hard for you guys to figure out what has to be figured out right now. I don't see any conflict here. I don't see one person going after the other in a way like, okay, you're dressed in armor, but what I see here is two people who are very, very deeply committed to making things work as best they can from their perspective, perhaps even to this degree of relating where it's very, very close, very face on. Your version of nobility, integrity, and substance, and their version of coming at it the way that they feel is good and right and just and honest too. Okay? On the understanding that there is a lot at risk. Okay? Let's have a look deep down in the other. Wow. Okay, with the Queen of Cups here, Aries, my feeling is that you're just like full of it. You're not full of it in that negative sense. What I meant is full of it, love, like buckets of love. And you have every intention. You have, it's like, it's the Queen of Cups. Let me just show it to you. It's an absolutely beautiful card. It's almost like having so much love you don't know what to do with it. The Queen of Cups really, really loves loving. The Queen of Cups loves to love. This is the energy of someone who has great capacity to love. And the question is, the big challenge for the Aries person is like, who is actually ready, willing, and able to receive this much love? Because there's so much honor available, and you have the absolute best of intentions. So it's a question of, where do you invest that love? Where do you invest that energy? Are you going to continue, Aries, to invest all that love and energy into this loving relationship here? Even in the face of this energy. In other words, are you willing to put yourself at risk, where by making profound decisions to be and continue with a significant other, you could end up like this? And is that really important to you? Like, is money the most important thing? Or is it on the understanding that you can get through this? You can get through even the toughest and hardest times together, so long as you've got love, okay? Because love conquers all. So it's a learning experience here. That's what I'm feeling is happening for you, Aries. And I think it might be something to do with, with these Pentacles energies, like your place in the world. Like starting to realize, like, who am I? What am I really doing here in a loving relationship? And what does it mean in the world at large? Not just like me, in my, in this like compressed perspective of your life and world, but in the broader perspective, okay? Because it seems to me at Tarot Lumination that they totally get it, and they're totally on board, and they totally want to go for it, no matter how tough it might get. Let's have a look deep inside. Wow. Okay. It's because I think a lot of it is a question of honor and being absolutely true to themselves. Now, in this position here, again, I see this is opportunity. This is a card of sacred opportunity. It doesn't just arrive there as like a freak circumstance. It arrives because they deserve this. And it's their time to receive the energy of sacred opportunity. And for them, it's about having the chance to rise up to their highest, newest levels of, let's say, brilliance of themselves as an individual in the context of a very loving relationship, where it looks like you are more than ready and willing and able to invest everything that you've got. Everything, What's that very old-fashioned saying? For richer or poorer, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. What really, really counts are the ingredients of honesty, truth, respect, love, affection, compassion, being there for the other, no matter what. No matter how rough it gets, you're still there. And that would be the honorable, truthful way that this significant other would like to be. Okay, how they intend to be. It's like absolute truth. So, like this person has like full integrity and honor, and you can trust them to your grave. Okay, let's have a look at the core itself. Wow. Oh, Aries. What I'm feeling here is that, as bizarre as this might have sounded up to this talking point here, at this moment in the little video, my feeling is that what's happening is that The relationship is its own thing, because we talk about that already. When I do the little chit chat intro on the videos, I always go on about, like, there's you, there's the significant other, and there's the relationship, okay? And in a really healthy, loving relationship, both parties invest in the relationship. They do the maintenance, they do the work, and no matter what, okay? Because they know that it's the crucible that is the container that allows each individual to blossom and grow and spiritually evolve and heal themselves and heal each other in a very loving context. It's like creating a safe house, a safe place. That is the crucible, okay? And the crucibles can come under intense pressure at times. So what I'm feeling for you here, Aries, is that kaboom, you just happen to be incredibly lucky. I don't want to say it's just pure fate, because you wouldn't get this card in this position without having perhaps invested, perhaps in lifetimes beforehand, to get to this point where you, Aries, are willing to invest so much of yourself and your love into a significant other, and you have a significant other who's willing to go there with you to the very ends, to the absolute, no matter what, no matter how tough it gets, they are there for you. And that's evidential. So that puts the relationship in the context, well, with an identity of, it's very, very pure. What I see here is like the relationship has like such profound meaning of its own that both of you get it, both of you understand it, and makes it worth your while investing and continuing to the relationship, even if you don't actually figuratively understand the details and the dynamics of what's happening to both of you in the context of this relationship through this time period called December. There's still a lot of love here. There's a tremendous amount of love here. That's what I'm seeing and feeling for you guys, to the point where you don't actually have to know all the answers right now. You don't have to be scared. You have to be aware that, yeah, things can get rough at times, but it's also the understanding that the resources are still there. It's just a question of attitude and perception and willingness to receive, okay? So with this beautiful card here, the star, it's the understanding that the alchemical process of the relationship is actually in full play right now. It's at max. It's like the dial is turned up to 10, which to me correlates very closely with Jupiter and Scorpio energy right now in the house, in your 8th house of deep intimacy and relationships, where there might be no language. The only language that occurs is intimacy, where people melt and meld and dissolve at the soul level into each other, and then you come out the other side again. And there's no explanation for it. It's just what people do when they love. They love. I am loving. I am loved. I am loving. I am loved. We are loving. We are loved. And in so doing, by being willing to go that far, that deep, with a significant other who truly understands and cares and wants to be there, you get to experience that degree of ecstasy, which can only happen when you completely like give oneself over to the energy of deep intimacy, where literally, so you're talking about deep soul merger here, okay? True on deep soul merger, and you are guided and protected the whole way, okay? You don't have to know all the answers. You just have to go for it in full courage, okay? There's a lot of courage here. There's a lot of courage here, a lot of courage here, and a lot of love here, Aries. Where does this take us, okay? Kaboom. So, in all this very spiritual, like super, angelic stuff that we're talking about here, where the energy of heaven is literally the primary ingredient of your relationship, where it is all about the healing power of love, and you're living it by example, that is like a fermentation which turns into something that triggers the passions, triggers the expressions of really wanting to live that out. Like, wow, no matter how scary or weird it gets, I want to do that. Like Aries is saying, like, I'm prepared to do that. I am absolutely dressed up, ready to go there and do it, do the hard work. And I am very glad that I have all this love and you're willing to accept all that love. Thank you very much. Because our relationship is, let's say, ordained. It's beautiful and it's ordained, and it can trigger, going from the highest levels of spiritual, deep soul intimacy, take it right down to raw passion between one body and another body, where it's very rare that people have the chance to express at that level, where you really get to like live out your passion, live out your dream, live out your vision, be able to express yourself at those periods of deepest intimacy. And the expression might not be in words, it might just be simply in body language, it might be in the deep soul energy that happens when two souls connect at that level, and there are no words for it. You completely dissolve into one thing. It's like an ecstatic explosion, and it's just a beautiful thing, and that's what can happen here. That's that potential. And of course, it feels so good. I have a feeling you guys know what we're talking about here, and that can inspire you want to continue to keep going even in the face of adversity, because love does conquer all, okay? Even this, okay? So that's what I'm feeling here for you, Aries. Uh, it's like it's very liberating. What I feel here is very, very liberating for you guys. It might be a little bit um, it might put you, Aries, in a position where you literally have to trust in the great beyond, trust and understand that you are guided, that you are protected, and that you know it. It's like an academic exercise. I don't want to labor this too much, but this might be what you've wished for your whole life, and now you've got it. And you don't have to know all the answers going into the future, but just having this, owning this, knowing that this kind of love, this kind of relationship actually does exist, where two souls really can merge and become one being, one beautiful pulsing being, where the love is amplified and magnified far greater than you could ever be as individuals. That is very inspiring. That lights it up. It's almost like an amplifier, where it feeds on itself. The better it gets, the better it gets. Okay? And that's a huge turn on. And that becomes expressed openly and outwardly to the world. Okay? Okay, I've said enough. That's enough. You can figure out the rest for yourself. You're going to have to. All right? So don't be scared of this card, okay? All right, Aries, have the best. Have a super time. Oh, by the way, I forgot. Mercury's going retrograde through December, a big chunk of it. So it's a really, really golden time, golden opportunity to have those awkward conversations that need to happen, which can actually open the doorway to this degree of expression and this degree of allowing such a beautifully ordained relationship that it's almost like it's already been blessed from above, and it has the most important core ingredient, which is the healing power of love, and then living that out. But it has to be done methodically, okay? Through good, honest, open communication, okay? All right, I've said enough. All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye, Aries. All the best. Happy holiday. Bye.